We're coming up on a Miss Kim Lilac. It's mid-March here, Zone 4, Northern Great Plains. Perfect time of the year to get some pruning done on this shrub. We're going to work on reducing the size of this shrub today with thinning cuts. That's a pruning technique. We're going to work our way around and take out approximately 20% of the branches that are the longest. That's going to help us keep the normal shape of this shrub, but just reducing the size overall. Before we get started though, let's take a look at some of the nice characteristics of the Miss Kim Lilac. They start out with these deep purple buds, and then they get into this lilac blue flower that we're seeing here. What I like about this flower too, it changes over almost into a white as it's finishing up. Here's a picture of the foliage as we get into mid-season. You can kind of see a little bit of the spent flowers there. We're going to talk a little bit about whether or not you can prune mid-season. And the leaves during the summer too, they have kind of an interesting crinkled cup-shaped look. And then as we get into fall, look at this burgundy tinged fall color. I just absolutely love that a lilac has a nice fall color. I've done a lot of videos on rejuvenation pruning, and that's actually a little bit faster way to go, where you just come through and you clear cut. A couple years ago, we did that rejuvenation process on these two Bloomerang lilacs that you see here. We cut them back to about 18 inches, let them start over. And the nice thing about Bloomerang lilacs is they bloom on the new wood and the old wood, whereas the Miss Kim, the common lilacs, the French hybrid lilacs, they're all lilacs that need that full year to set flower bud. Before we get started here, you can see a long branch just like this. We'll actually be going back in 2 to 3 feet, and that's going to drop the size of that shrub about a foot. We'll be able to prune most of the branches we're going to take out. They're probably no bigger than a thumb with the Falco pruners. That's going to work just fine, but we'll have the loppers on standby just in case. I'm going to start at ground level, what I can reach, and then we'll break out the ladder too and get in there and get on some of the higher ones that we can't reach. And as we work on thinning this Miss Kim Lilac, we'll work our way around several times, working on a balance. This lilac's been here about 12 years now. I've never really done any pruning on it, but it's just getting a little bit too big for my taste at this point. So that's why we're going to start with the thinning cuts. And then we might also midsummer, after it's done blooming, come in and do a light shearing as well. Miss Kim gets up into that 6 to 8 foot range easily, not as big as some of the common lilacs that get up into that 10 to 12 foot range. One of the other things I love about the Miss Kim Lilac, it does not sucker. That's something you can contrast to compare again to the common lilac. The common lilac also gets powdery mildew and does have some other fungal problems that are a real challenge for the nursery growers now to keep in check. If you take a look right here, this is a hosta that's going to be coming up. And if you look at this picture from about 6 or 7 years ago, that's how much further this shrub has come. So in a 12-year period, this has gone from about an 18-inch shrub up to, I would say it's up in that 8 foot by 8 foot range right now. As you can see here, we'll be coming back to one of the laterals. So this is one of the longer canes, and then we'll just come in and we're going to cut that off right above it, just like that. One of the nice things about the thinning, you're taking out some of the larger stems. So after we bloom, we can make the choice if we want to come in and do our shearing directly after the blooms are done. The reason you want to do that on a plant that blooms on what's called that old wood, it gives that flower bud the time it needs throughout the rest of the season to develop. The Miss Kim Lilac actually is a great shrub for shearing and making those formal shapes. I don't have a picture of a Miss Kim Lilac shear, but look at these Dwarf Korean Lilac. In a little Japanese garden that I came across in an arboretum, but they work just absolutely beautiful for that shearing. Such a nice, tight little shape. The Dwarf Korean Lilac, similar to Miss Kim, but it does have a little bit smaller leaf, and overall it's not going to get quite as large as it matures. Okay, we're making the final round now, and as we go through, you can tell I'm kind of looking up, and I'm just looking for a nice balanced globe type look. Surprising how long you can keep going around and round and find stems, and the temptation is to go through and start doing this clipping all the way around, but we don't want to cut off those terminal buds for the flowering. We're going to wait, as I mentioned, till after this flushes out, finishes blooming into that mid-June. Then we're going to be able to go ahead and do that shearing and tighten this up just even a little bit more. To summarize then, pruning by thinning is a great way to reduce the overall size of your shrub and keep its natural form. You're also going to open up the shrub to a little bit more sunlight can get in there, more air movement. If it was difficult to see just how long the branches were that we're taking out, you know, that's about 2.5 to 3 feet. That was some of the longer ones. You can kind of see the size of the stem there, about thumb on these branches. If you like lilacs, I've done a couple other videos, as I mentioned, on the rejuvenation of the bloomerang. We talked about Japanese tree lilacs. I'll put a link in the description. You should see a card coming across the top of your video right now that you can select as well. And it's not only the lilacs that you can do this on. You can do this on all shrubs. We've got a forsythia that you see here that also is getting just a little bit too big for its area, but since that blooms on the old wood, we're going to do thinning cuts on this as well. That'll reduce that overall size and allow us to keep that same shape. That's all I've got for this video. I appreciate you stopping by. We'll see you again next video.